Hello everyone, and welcome to Linux Forensics here at Pentester Academy. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about mounting images that might contain extended partitions. Again, here's our high-level process. We're getting into the dead analysis, so we've acquired images, and now it's time to actually mount them. Extended partitions. When are these used? Whenever you have more than 4 partitions on an MBR-based drive, you have to use these. Now, you can actually use these if you have less than 4. It's not terribly common, but you can do this. And a primary extended partition stores this logical partition inside of itself. Each extended partition, we normally call the overall partition a primary extended partition, and it will store inside of itself multiple logical partitions. And each logical partition is preceded by an MBR sector. So it has the exact same format as the MBR we talked about in a previous video. A couple of differences, however. First of all the offsets are relative to the extended partition, not the overall media. Also, this is interpreted as a linked list. So the first entry will point to your first logical partition. If there is more than one partition in the extended partition, the next entry will point to another extended partition. That's why it's interpreted as a linked list. Now, normally, the last 2 entries are not used. You could put something in there, but there is no operating system out there with a tool that will let you do this. I won't guarantee what's going to happen if you try to manually create one and then see what each operating system does in order to interpret it. Some of them might just ignore it, and some of them might interpret it and do something strange. So what does this extended partition look like? This MBR, if you will? Well, it looks exactly like a regular MBR. It starts with some boot code. In this case, it's not really used for anything. And then you have your first partition, and then a second partition, if any, followed by a bunch of zeros and your signature 55AA at the end. And each partition record looks the same as what we had before. So how do we mount these extended partitions? Well, it's pretty simple, and actually, it's the same process. So how do I go about this? I need to run fdisk on my image. So if I run fdisk on my image, which I have stored to an external drive, so I run fdisk on that. And if I type P, it should print out my different partitions. And notice that I have a Linux partition, type 83, followed by an extended partition, type 5, followed by a swap partition. And notice that the swap partition is, in fact, stored inside of this extended partition. So if I wanted to mount this as a partition, in this case, it's not a regular partition, but if I wanted to try and mount this as a partition, all I need to do is exactly what I did in the previous case. I just need to get out my calculator, and if I run my handy dandy calculator, I take this value, this starting value of 33556,480 times 512, and I get that value, and I copy it, and then in my mount command, I give the option offset equals this value, and then it will mount my partition. And it's that simple. Well, that's all for this video. As always, if you're enjoying these videos here at Pentester Academy, please tell a friend. We'll see you soon.